agonizing pain receded a bit, Jack Gibbs was able to think again. "I'll never make it home," he groaned. "Not in one piece, anyway." He sighed and tried to shift his body to a more comfortable position on the cold, rocky ground. But any movement caused more pain and another gush of warm blood. He knew that if he were to live, he must lie still. "By the time they cart me to the hospital," he thought, "I'll either have bled to death or it'll be such rotten shape they'll have to saw my leg off." The wounded soldier's chance of survival was fading fast, and he started to lose all hope. Explosions of gunpowder rang in his ears. As he lay on the ground, a cold sensation wept over him. He closed his eyes and slipped into unconsciousness. When Jack opened his eyes, he heard the sounds of distant cannon fire. He could faintly make out a woman standing over him. "That's impossible," he thought. "It can't happen on a battlefield." In the Civil War, no women ever came to the battlefield. But there was a woman on the battlefield, and her name was Clara Barton. With the help of 2 soldiers, she lifted Jack onto a cot. She took some bandages out of her kit and bound up his leg. Then she gave him a pain-killing medicine. Jack weakly sipped it down, and the men put him in a crude-looking horse-drawn ambulance. Clara Barton had been doing this kind of work all day long. She had helped hundreds of wounded by allaying their fears, relieving their pain, and cleansing their wounds. Ever since the dreadful war had begun, Clara Barton had been worried about the men fighting at the front. She knew that the wounded men were left laying on the field until the battle was over. She knew that only after the battle was over were they collected and taken to hospitals far behind the lines. She knew that if they survived this delay, the rough jolting of the wagons might well cause their unbound wounds to open. She knew that they often bled to death before they ever reached the hospital. Heartsick at this state of affairs, she determined to bring aid to the men on the field. First, she procured a wagon. Then she equipped it with medicine and first aid supplies. After that, she went to see the general. She was a slender little woman. To the commanding officer, she didn't exactly look battlefield material. In fact, her idea horrified him. "Mrs. Barton," he said, what you're asking is absolutely impossible." "But General," she insisted, "why is it impossible? I myself will drive the wagon and give the soldiers